Hey there, and welcome. Today, we're going to talk about something a lot of us feel but maybe don't fully understand. We're going to take a journey into the world of anxiety. Have you ever just been going about your day and suddenly your heart starts pounding? Or you get that weird knot in your stomach like something bad is just around the corner? But you have no idea what? Yeah, you are definitely not alone in that. So, over the next few minutes, we're going to unpack what that feeling actually is, where it comes from, and most importantly, we're going to look at some clear, simple things you can start doing to find your way back to a sense of calm. All right, first things first, let's reframe how we even think about this. What if anxiety isn't a flaw? What if it's actually your body's own personal alarm system? At its core, anxiety is a totally natural response. It's a powerful and really necessary system that's literally designed to keep us safe from threats. But here's the catch. What happens when that alarm system gets a little confused and can't tell the difference between a real threat and one we're just thinking about? Well, that's when things can get messy. And this is a really important distinction to get. Fear, that's what you feel when you see a bear standing right in front of you. It's immediate, it's real. Anxiety, on the other hand, is the feeling you get worrying about a bear that might be on the trail up ahead. It's all about an uncertain, imagined future. So, when does this super helpful alarm start causing more harm than good? It's when it starts going off when there's no actual danger. It's when those worrying thoughts get stuck on a loop and just won't stop. And crucially, it's when it gets in the way of you living your daily life. Your brain just gets stuck, struggling to tell what's real and what's imagined. And man, that can be exhausting. Getting that distinction is a huge first step. So now, let's look at the different ways this overactive alarm can actually show up. Because anxiety isn't just one single thing. Nope. It's more like a whole family of related conditions, and each one looks a little different. For instance, you've got generalized anxiety disorder, or GAD. That's that constant, low hum of worry about, well, pretty much everything. Then there's panic disorder, where fear just hits you like a tidal wave, out of nowhere. Social anxiety is that powerful fear of being judged by others. Phobias are those intense, extreme fears of very specific things, like spiders or heights. And PTSD involves being forced to relive a past trauma over and over again. Okay, so we see all these different faces of anxiety, but what's really going on under the hood? Where does this stuff even come from? Well, it's almost never just one single thing. A good way to think about it is like a triangle of causes, all feeding into each other. Let's break it down. First up, we've got biology. Some of us are just wired to be a bit more sensitive to stress. It's right there in our genes. And our unique brain chemistry, things like our levels of serotonin that help keep our mood stable, can also play a really big part. The next corner of our triangle is psychology. The way we think is a huge piece of the puzzle. Think about it. If you grew up where every little mistake was treated like a 5-alarm fire, your brain learns to react that way to everything. Our past really does shape how we see threats today. And the last piece, our environment. And wow, is modern life a doozy. The constant notifications from our phones, the pressure to be on all the time for work and social media, the nonstop news cycle, it's like our nervous system never gets a chance to stand down and relax. So you've got this perfect storm, right? Biology, psychology, and our environment, all mixing together. But what does that actually feel like, day to day? It's not just in your head, that's for sure. It shows up in your entire being. You can kind of break it down into 4 main areas. Physically, you might feel that racing heart, the sweaty palms, or that upset stomach. Emotionally, it can look like being super irritable or just feeling this constant restlessness. Then you've got the cognitive stuff, the racing thoughts, right? The endless what-ifs that make it so hard to concentrate. And finally, behaviorally, you might start avoiding things or people or just fidgeting all the time. All right, that was a lot of the what and the why. But now for the most important part, what we can actually do about it. Because here's the really good news. Anxiety is highly treatable. You can absolutely learn to turn down the volume on that alarm. And I want to give you something you can use like right now. It's called 4-4-6 breathing. Let's just do one together, okay? Breathe in through your nose for a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4. And a nice long exhale through your mouth for 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That one simple action sends a powerful signal to your nervous system that says, hey, we're safe.
And building on that feeling doesn't have to be some huge, overwhelming project. Here's a super simple 1-week plan just to get you started. Day 1 is just about noticing. No judgment, just tracking when it pops up. Then you can layer in the breathing, a mindful walk, maybe cutting back on caffeine. The whole point here is small, manageable steps. It's all about progress, not perfection. And by the end of the week, you just pick one thing that worked and try to keep it going.
Okay, as we get ready to wrap this up, I want to offer you a totally different way to look at all of this. What if anxiety wasn't an enemy to be defeated?
We have got to bust this myth once and for all. Feeling anxious is not a sign of weakness. It's not a character flaw. In fact, you could say it's the opposite. It reflects a nervous system that is highly alert and incredibly sensitive, one that's just trying really, really hard to protect you. It's about your biology, not your personality.
And that brings us to the last idea I really want to leave you with. What if anxiety isn't an enemy at all, but a messenger? A signal from your body and your mind trying to tell you that something needs your attention. So maybe the real question isn't how to silence it, but what is it trying to tell you?